Another day, another start, sit, show. Hopefully, you guys aren't sick of us and our faces because we're here again tonight to answer all of your questions for the most pivotal weekend of fantasy football. No need for a longer intro. Let's just dive right into your questions.
You're watching Fantasy Now Plus.
Oh, mistimed that one, but that's all right. A little rusty on this setup. When we're not talking about DFS, sometimes it takes a second to get ready, but we're over that. We're done with daily fantasy. We're here for your normal fantasy football discussion. I am today's host, Brian Rockwood, alongside my co-host, as always, Tim Holstad. And it is another day closer to a fancy, hopefully, championship appearance for most folks here.
Yeah.
Tim, do you have anyone going yesterday in that
the wrong
explosion of a fantasy point matchup?
Yeah, only Colby Parkinson. So very, very saddening.
I wanted to almost name this the Colby Parkinson apology stream. We're really sorry, though I didn't mean to look up his actual target share because it felt like he got plenty of opportunities. They just didn't fall the right way.
I think he got 5 targets overall and just only had 2 receptions for handful of yards and no touchdowns. So
that is the stupid sport we play, the stupid game that we play.
Yep. It happens. I mean, he's been playing well. He's had a much bigger target share. He's had red zone work. He has been like a top 10 fantasy tight end in the last 5 consecutive games. He just didn't catch a touchdown this time. It went to Terrence Ferguson instead.
And the rest of the yardage went to Puka.
Yeah.
Nothing you can do.
Sure did.
Because you would think when Stafford throws for 500 yards, surely someone else would have gotten 100 yards, right?
Nope.
No, siree. But
yeah.
Hopefully not everyone is buried as much as, your co-host as well will face off against the Stafford Puka stack in one of his leagues.
Yeah. I thankfully in the league I started Parkinson, I only faced Stafford, Walker, and JSN, which was somewhat like facing Puka, but those were also 3 of his better players starting. So if they're going to beat me with points that they could conceivably score, that's not the end of the world. It's mostly just that my team is falling apart at the seams all this week, despite being the clear number 1 seed all season. And it's very tilting, even though that's not this show.
It's just playoffs just is another level of luck and chaos that you got to power through.
Yeah.
Right now, even with some injury reports slowly rolling in, just looking at the Houston Texans, just as one example, Woody Marks might not play. Nick Chubb might not play. There's going to be a ton of people staring down Jawar Jordan as potential flex option this week.
Yep.
And when you queued up for your fantasy league in August, you didn't think you were going to need the 4th string, 5th string, undrafted running back.
Yeah.
Who, you're a dynasty guy. Do you remember where he went to school?
No.
Because I don't. Don't worry.
I want to say it's one of the smaller Texas schools, maybe.
I was almost thinking Florida. I don't know why USF sounds familiar. That seems...
All I know is that he was so unheralded that he was a 5th round pick in a 32-team dynasty rookie draft for me one season. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Oh, he went to Louisville. So
Close.
actually a relevant-ish
Yeah,
program.
about halfway between Florida and Texas.
We were gonna get there eventually, I think.
Yeah.
Oh man. But to get things going, do you have any lingering start sit questions on your end, just that you're still mulling over?
All of mine are by force, not by choice. Like on that team, I had Rashi Rice, he's going to miss with a concussion. I had Garrett Wilson sitting in IR, was just shut down for the season. I had to play three flexes. One of them ended up being Parkinson because I had Woody Marks, who like was not going to be either of my starting running backs, but was like a solid flex option. And I'm like, I am not going to miss on Parkinson, get to Sunday, find out Marks won't play, and then have to pick up someone even worse than Parkinson. So I kind of had to just like make that decision. So yeah,
That's rough.
yep,
Yeah, you never, I don't know, especially with games that are not on the main slate.
yeah,
Any sort of decision like that feels extra pressured. Like,
yeah,
what can you do? You don't want to miss the opportunity, especially since it's on a Thursday.
yep. It's even worse next week. There's three Christmas games on Thursday. So and Saturday games. So,
Nothing, nothing screams a perfect calm holiday morning with your family, like staring at your phone trying to figure out if you're playing Justin Jefferson or not.
yeah,
If you make it to the championship with Justin Jefferson on your roster,
which would be a feat in and of itself at this point.
it might be, if things go well, it might be me. But he is currently, I'm staring down not starting Blake Corum, and uh,
I I know that people are like, you should start Blake Corum, but like on the way that we play fantasy football, you should not be starting Blake Corum. You're just running very poorly. He just
yeah,
keeps scoring touchdowns, but like this man does not ever catch a pass in any way. He is not the lead running back. It doesn't matter how good the team is. Like he's basically like discount David Montgomery in his role. And it's like you don't really want to play that, especially in season long. You're just completely betting on touchdowns and nothing else. And like he just keeps getting them. So it looks bad, but the play is not really a strong one.
and his usage isn't that, you know a small deal anymore. It's very much a real timeshare between the two.
Yeah.
I think the Rams have seen enough from Corum where they think, "Yep, give you plenty of snaps because it's working." We scored 36 points, 37 points. Sometimes it's not enough, but Corum is feels very real, and going into next year, it's gonna be very, very interesting between the two.
Yeah.
Oh, what's up, guys? What's up, Eddie? I lost Rice. Should I go for Jane Higgins, Jalen Naylor, Parker Washington, Juju Smith-Schuster, or Matthew Golden? Full PPR. Thanks.
Woof.
That is tricky. Uh, Starting with kind of a little process of elimination from my end, I would say no to Parker Washington, no Matthew Golden, though he did have a good, did have a more of a relevant game last week, so maybe I shouldn't write him off too much.
No, you
Jane
should.
Higgins doesn't seem very exciting. Oh,
I guess, do you believe that the Naylor thing is just going to continue and McCarthy will just keep beating him for some reason?
I think I do, and I say that without a hint of confidence, because there are a lot of signs that point towards McCarthy trying to get to his all-pro receiver.
Yeah.
Like he is trying to get the ball to Justin Jefferson. They are against the Giants, who are a sieve when it comes to, both rushing and passing defense.
Yeah.
I do think like they're each and every game matters for JJ McCarthy. So he will probably throw the ball a bunch. That's why I want to play Jalen Naylor. It just doesn't feel very exciting.
Yeah. You're praying for touchdowns again. Like honestly, with any of these guys, you're just praying for a touchdown. Like it's really the only way any of them are going to pay off for you. So yeah, it's more about like who's going to be on the field all the time, who's going to be in a offense that's trying to score, that can throw. So it's probably Naylor. I think Jaden Higgins is a decent swing. He's the pretty clear, undisputed number two target on that team now. The real question is, are they going to have to throw the ball at all against the Raiders? That's certainly the scary part of that play. But from a talent perspective, I would prefer to play Higgins over anyone. But I think from a how things have been going lately perspective, I would probably go Naylor as well.
Yeah, and Matthew Golden did get 4 targets for 55 yards, only 3 catches.
Yeah.
It feels like you still are gambling the Green Bay Packers, and I don't know if I want to do that in the semifinals.
Yeah.
Especially with Matthew Golden, like just if I'm looking at the last week's box score with the against the Broncos. So Golden had 4, Jane Reed had 6, Musgrave had 6, Dobbs 3, Christian Watson 5, Josh Jacobs 3, John Fitzpatrick 4. There is no unfortunately, I can't in good faith say I know how Matthew Golden's game is gonna go.
Yep.
Because it's either 4, 5 targets or 1 or 0.
Yep.
So to me, I think it is sadly Jalen Naylor, Jaden Higgins. I think are the top 2 options there.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't feel safe with Juju either.
No. I mean, what are you hoping for with Juju? Like, you're going to get 4 catches for 28 yards and okay, like 6 points, yippee, So, yeah, I would go Naylor. I'd say Higgins if you like really need some type of like high upside game. I think he does have a higher upside than Naylor, but I think Naylor's a bit of a safer floor. So good luck either way, man. Like that is a rough list of characters.
We've been saying this all year. Jalen Naylor is the floor play that you need when things get tough.
I hate fantasy.
It's a silly game. Meme. You started Jason and Kyron, so that feels like a pretty dang good start. But you don't know if you should play Birdie or Herbert. To me, this is kind of a layup. I think Brock Purdy is just great. Just like outside of fantasy football, I think actually Brock Purdy is a very good quarterback. I think he is probably a little safer. I know Herbert is playing the Cowboys. I am worried-ish due to his kind of like slower past few games, but
yeah,
I think in this case I would like to play it a little safer with the 49ers.
Yep, full agree. Purdy is playing better. He's not injured, and Herbert is. And I heard a stat earlier today on the Chargers offense as a whole. They are passing the ball at like a negative 17-ish% pass rate under expectation. Basically, they run the ball 17% of the time more than you would expect based on down and distance and how things go. So it's a far cry from what they look like in the beginning of the season. So Herbert's just not going to throw it enough, I don't think.
And I'm like, to me, it also feels like they want him to be healthy for the playoffs. Like they're probably a high percentage chance of team getting there. Protect him a little bit. Dallas is going to try to win, but I don't know. The Chargers defense might take care of business.
Yep.
Let's see. All right, full PBR, Chuba, Michael Carter, or Chris Rodriguez. I'll let you take this one first.
Probably Michael Carter because it's full PPR. He has a better chance of being somewhat involved in the passing game. I think Chris Rodriguez is very much just early down and distance, hand the ball off on first and second, and get him off the field anytime any obvious passing situation occurs, and put Jeremy McNichols in. So Chuba's to 50-50 ish on whether he's going to get enough work to matter. So I think I would go Carter out of the three.
Yeah, Chris Rodriguez, I usually like. He is a more bruisery back, but against Philly, like I don't know if this feels very safe to play.
Yeah.
Chuba, completely agree there. It's a 50-50 timeshare. I know it's a timeshare also in Arizona. They did say Michael Carter is the starter.
Yeah.
How much work? How much does that mean? Like, does that have any weight to you?
Eh,
Who knows? So I would still lean Michael Carter. He at least was the healthiest one of the running backs
Yeah.
coming into this weekend. So I would probably start there.
Yep.
Full PPR, sit one, Jamar Chase, DK Metcalf, Chris Olave.
I think it's Metcalf pretty easily for me.
It's a hard sit, but I think I am in agreement there. Jamar Chase is Jamar Chase. He is playing the Dolphins.
Yeah.
We are kind of expecting a scorched earth kind of game from Joe Burrow after some down weeks.
Yeah.
And Chris Olave is the only one that can catch balls over in New Orleans.
Yep. And with full PPR, 8 catches, you've got a nice solid baseline of like 12 to 15 points. And Metcalf can get there on touchdowns and yards, but it's unlikely that he's ever going to give you an 8 to 10 reception game in this offense. So I would, especially with the upside of Chase, I would rather pair that with Olave's safe floor / high ceiling outcomes built in.
All right, full PPR, Jake Ferguson or Colston Loveland. I like Colston Loveland a lot this week.
Yeah, the Bears scare me, but they don't have Rome or Luther Burden, so Loveland's probably their second target when they do throw. So I think I would still take that over Ferguson, just knowing that Ferguson is a pretty distant third in targets now with Pickens and Lamb.
Yeah, unfortunately, Ferguson's really exciting start of the season has cooled off quite a bit since everyone's come back.
Yeah.
You hate to see it. Colston Loveland, last time the Bears played the Packers, did have 5 targets, catching 4 of them. It only went for 20 yards, 30 yards, but one was a touchdown. I like that from a tight end.
Yep.
Can't be too mad about that. Last question. Where do you have the Chiefs ranked this week? Technically, if you looked at my Fantasy Pros ranking, it's 3. I would call them around a 3 to 6 range. If you kind of put that towards a scale, so high.
Yeah,
I would comfortably play the Chiefs defense.
Yeah, definitely playable. Yeah, I would probably have Texans ahead of them, and then a couple other teams, but for the most part, Chiefs are going to be one of your better options on the week, and you're hoping that Cam Ward throws a silly pick or two and fumbles on a sack or two, as he's been prone to do all season, and you'll have a nice, relatively safe, like 10-point-ish baseline that you're hoping turns into more.
Yeah, the Chiefs offense is going to be weak. They're going to have to really lean heavily on the defense, and I do think the defense will want to win the game. I don't think the players really want to stop winning despite not being in the playoff hunt.
Yeah.
A lot of incentives still to be played or to be earned. Yo, right back at you. Thanks for tuning in. You're welcome. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for the questions. All right, tight end premium 0.5 per catch. Need to flex one. Brees Hall, Debo Samuel, Jalen Coker, Arade Gadsden. And then we have rank threes, but we'll start with the first half here. Which of these three would you, sorry, which of the four would you flex? I just inherently and reflexively blanked out Brees Hall from my mind.
Um, that's a tough one. Coker would probably be last for me. It's just simply into unpredictable and not enough volume in the role to really feel great playing him. I know it's tight end premium to some extent, but I also am just a little wary of just how little the Chargers are going to throw the ball. And so Gadsden feels okay on paper, but I don't know. I don't think we're getting like the type of performance that he gave when he first broke out this season. Like, I don't think that's really in his range of outcomes to end the year. That offense is just too banged up and too run heavy, too run reliant. So it's between Hall and Debo for me. I would probably disgustingly go Hall, but I don't feel great about any of them if I'm honest.
I think that's where we differ a little bit. I do like Jalen Coker. I think he's ramping up a little bit towards the end of the season. We saw it last year. This same thing happened. Tedero McMillan is active. He will be playing. He is coming off an ankle injury. Not sure how much that'll actually impact him, but we did see a bunch of Coker last week where the Panthers really needed to win that game and they couldn't. So we'll see if they go back to Tedero McMillan. Gadsden is interesting to me because it's the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Because the game script will probably demand him to either be around the line of scrimmage for Herbert to get him the ball, or I guess play some seam route, like do some seam routes to open up the offense a bit. I don't know. It's so interesting with Herbert and the Chargers right now. I I think it's Hall, and that feels unexciting.
Yeah.
But again, like this offense has to do something, and they kind of know what Brady Cook can do now.
Yeah.
So maybe there's hope they can play around Brees Hall's strength. He's still kind of interviewing for I could say interviewing for a new team because he's not gonna be on this team next year.
Yeah.
Like he's gonna want the ball to show that he still got it. I might also lean Hall, and that feels bad.
It
But
feels
he at
bad.
least has a lot of explosive,
Yeah.
in his explosive play capability in his back pocket.
And, the Saints aren't like a world beating defense. Like, this isn't the Jacksonville matchup from last week where he didn't give you anything. The Saints are a much more middle of the road, bottom part of the league defense to face. And, like you said, with explosives, all it takes is one 40-yard reception and you're feeling great about starting him. And I don't really. Debo's just really fallen off in the second half of the season. He's just, whether it was because McLaurin was gone and now that McLaurin's back, he's just kind of a guy, but he's not really startable to me. So yeah, I think we go Hall there. And for the ranking of Igbuka, Coker, and Gadsden, I would probably order them. Wolf. I would probably go Gadsden, Coker, Igbuka, which might not be popular.
Whoa. Okay. I almost would say leave him as is. I guess you do have the premium.
Yeah.
No. I'm not gonna do that. I think you leave it as is, only because Gadsden's target share is very small at this point.
Yeah.
Like I think you made a really good point about how the beginning of the season, the Chargers have really everybody back, and so when it was a full functioning offense, Gadsden could do what he did. Like he could be like a big play threat, he could be a reliable target, and that was great. And then he got hurt, so he's still kind of playing through some a little bit, not like not 100%, probably like whatever, like 90%.
Yeah,
And Igbuka looked good with Mike Evans back.
he looked
To
okay.
me, yeah, I know. I mean, good's relative.
Yeah,
better than he had been in the past few weeks.
yeah,
So
that's definitely true. But I don't
yeah,
know.
so yeah, I'll say leave it, and then yours. You can say your three again.
Yeah, mine's the reverse of Gadsden first, then Coker, then Igbuka. I believe Quentin Johnston is out for this game, so that does condense the targets a little bit more in the offense, where it's just Ladd, Allen, and Gadsden. So that helps slightly. It is the Cowboys. I like Coker. I think I'm going to be forced to start him in my home league instead of Rashi Rice, but he hasn't really gotten more than like 4 or 5 targets in most of his recent games, and he's just getting there on touchdown luck as of late, which can happen again. And he's talented, and I think he absolutely could go off against Tampa Bay, but I think he could show up with 1 for 12 and no one would be really that shocked that he did so. So Igbuka's like, I don't know. The way that Tampa Bay is ramping up their receivers, it kind of just feels like it's going to be a Mike Evans is very clearly the one, and then Godwin, Igbuka, and McMillan are all just kind of like shuffling around for whatever the game plan says should be their two for that week, and it's going to be really difficult to predict who's getting the targets in any given game, and you know it could be Igbuka for sure, but he could also easily be the wide receiver 4 on the team in this particular game plan. It's kind of hard to know. They haven't played the Panthers yet this season, so that makes me wary.
It's crazy how like when we get this deep into the season, like these questions are just legitimately, I don't want to say impossible to answer,
Yeah,
but it really comes down to just a combination of gut feeling
yep,
and just like pick the analytics that you want to use to follow your point, because you can kind of just like throw them all out because it doesn't matter anymore.
yeah,
You're not really thinking about next week. You're not thinking about past week. You're just thinking about what is going to go happen here. And when you think about like especially someone like Abuka, right? Like
yeah.
so good for the first half of the season,
Yep.
so bad the second half of the season.
Oh yeah.
And then now you're like, well, which half do I believe? Where's the truth that lies in Emeka Ibuka?
Yep.
I don't know. That is so hard. It's a hard question, but
That's why they're asking.
that's why you come to the pros to get hopefully the answer to get into the finals, or someone to blame, say it wasn't my fault, they told me to do it. Now I have another question, and I'm bringing it up because it's again another Rondé Gadsden question.
Mm-hmm.
In my home league, I'm between Travis Kelce and Rondé Gadsden. I am torn because I kind of want to play a team against the Cowboys, but and this is the problem with talking to other smart people like yourself, Tim. We're talking about how Gardner Minshew is probably just going to dump it off to Kelce 8 or 9 times, and
Yep.
hopefully Kelce gets enough yak to help us out and win a fantasy matchup.
Yeah.
Where are you at with those two, just looking at each other that way?
I think Kelce is probably the clear winner for me as far as like, we just spent all this time talking up Gadsden, but at the end of the day, it's still a game they're probably not going to throw a lot, and it's not even necessarily going to go to him anyways. And it's, it's very unlikely. It literally will just take a broken play for him to truly pay off. in my mind. And for Kelsey, it's like he's there's very little chance with Patrick Mahomes gone and Rashi Rice gone that the game plan is going to just be like, actually, instead of Travis Kelsey, we're going to throw it to Tyquan Thornton and Juju Smith Schuster all game. It's going to be Hollywood, it's going to be Worthy, and it's going to be Kelsey. And I just feel it's just as bad a defense. It's the Titans. So to me, I think Kelsey just has a bigger target share to look at, and I don't think I don't think he's impossible to get explosive plays either. Like he does still actually get yak more than you would think, even this season at his age. Like he is actually getting a decent chunk of yards after the catch. So I just think Kelsey's like probably like a top 3 to 5 tight end play on the week across the whole position. And I think Gadsden's more of like your back end tight end one. Hope he gets a 40-yard touchdown type of play.
All right. Kelsey is going to go right back in the starting lineup then. Hey, JRS. What's up? What do we think of Fannin versus Jake Ferguson this week? Full PPR. To me, I will select Harold Fannin Jr., Cleveland Browns. He is their offense right now.
Yep.
Like he is the target earner. He is the main receiver. He is Shadur Sanders' comfort blanket. And I think he's wildly needed against a good Bills defense.
Yep. And David Njoku's out.
Yep.
So he's just the guy.
It's scary. I know the Bills defense is gooder. They are good against the tight end position.
Yeah.
But in a situation like this, like the Browns don't have anyone else. Like they have to keep taking deep shots to Isaiah Bond and Jerry Jeudy.
Yeah.
That seems pretty hit or miss.
Yep. They also don't really use Fannin as like a traditional tight end. Like I would say it's a lot more like the Raiders sometimes try to use Brock Bowers of just like a weapon that they move around the formation and they get in motion. They have run very specific routes to get open. Like Fannin is used pretty similarly. That's a strong word. And he's talented. He breaks tackles. He gets yards after the catch. He has played in cold weather, so he's used to playing in winter conditions. He is a lot better with Shadur than he was with any of the other Browns quarterbacks. So I think Fannin's kind of probably another tight end that I would put in like my top 3 to 5 plays on the week. And Ferguson, similarly to Gadsden, is just kind of that back end tight end one. Hope he catches a touchdown type of play.
Yeah, I think Fannin really is a Madden character. I do think he just has so many like his traits to become an elite tight end are there.
Yeah.
Like he is very much a player that they showed out at college. Yes, it was at Bowling Green. I'm sorry, it wasn't a Power 5 school. But it doesn't matter because when they played against top defenses and top talent, he still did it. Like, he was able to put up, I think, maybe 80 to 100 yards against Penn State. That's not nothing when he's getting, passes from a used car salesman. So
wasn't his best game against Michigan, or was it against Penn State?
I'll have to go back and check the tape, but I mean,
yeah, I think one of those 2 schools he put up like 150 something yards and a touchdown or 2, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, he's just a force to be reckoned with, man. Yeah. And I am excited to see what he can do more next year with the second year in the league and hopefully a better quarterback. We'll see. Or at least a full year, at least Shadur look, I don't care if it's Shadur next year. As long as he keeps giving Fannin 10 to 15 targets a game,
yeah,
I'm in.
Yeah.
I love it. Overall saw it. How about Igbuka versus AD Mitchell? I'm down 20 points already. Goodness. I don't like that my first thought was, sounds good, play Adonai Mitchell.
That was my thought. Like, you would think in most situations that like Egbuka would have a higher ceiling, but I just don't know if he does at this point. Like, there's just too many mouths to feed, even if it is a good offense against a mediocre defense. Like, AD Mitchell has a 20 to 30 point game in his range of outcomes, and it's against a bad defense that doesn't have any type of like shutdown corner really. So I'd probably would go Mitchell because of that as well. Like, I think the upside is higher, but I also wouldn't blame you if it feels disgusting to play AD Mitchell over a first round rookie who has exploded in games this year not too long ago.
It's just like I said a few minutes ago, do you believe Egbuka is the player in the first half? Do you believe he's the player in the second half right now?
Yep.
Make your bet.
Yep.
All right. While waiting for some more questions to roll in here, I did have another one, but now I'm blanking because it was another, is it Egbuka or Jalen Naylor? I think, unfortunately, we're probably on the Jalen Naylor side at that point, which is so, I shouldn't say we, because I think you might still be like, I don't know.
I just don't believe the Jalen Naylor thing's real.
It's not. That's the thing. I don't think it is, because the other receiving options are better. Jalen Naylor is a fine receiver. Addison and Jordan and Justin Jefferson are just like
Great.
objectively better.
Yeah. Well, and Naylor, like, he's never been the type of receiver that just like demands targets, which is rich coming from a Cardinals fan who very quickly was like, Michael Wilson's good. But I don't know. I still, every time Naylor scores, I'm just like, that should not be him. Like, what are we doing? Why does this keep happening? So I would probably play Egbuka over Naylor personally, but I also can see the argument to not.
It's just gross all around. It feels nasty putting the season in the hands of AD Mitchell. You're welcome. I completely agree. This is just a time of year where you start getting a little gross.
Yep.
You just try to find the player that will give you the best advantage, the best opportunity to win your matchup. And that's it. And then you just close your eyes, hold your nose, and and just hope the fantasy football gods are nice to you.
Yeah.
Like, I was so excited last night because I had played the Rams defense, and at one point they had, in our scoring, they had 12 points.
Yeah.
JSN had 4.
Yep.
At the end of the game, JSN had 20, and then my defense had 4. That's just, what can you do? You do all your research, and then suddenly Sam Darnold becomes Tom Brady.
Yeah. I still can't believe they won that game. Just insane fumble for the Rams.
I can't say anything because the Patriots did something pretty similar.
Yeah, at least it was against Josh Allen and not Sam Darnold.
You don't think they're the same tier of quarterback? Interesting.
No. Yeah. I'm willing to go out on a limb and say that I think Josh Allen's a little bit better than Sam Darnold.
That's very bold of you to say, but I'm proud of you for being for going out there and saying your truth.
Yeah, I mean, Darnold was drafted first, but hey, we all make mistakes.
Can't be perfect. Bad weekends going most of those guys. Yeah. If you are staring down Puka Nacua, Matthew Stafford, I don't even know how Sam Darnold did. I didn't even see his score, but
I didn't either. I mean, I would imagine decent. He threw a couple picks, but it wasn't a pick 6 because he got tackled at the 1.
Oh no! Don't tell me that. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Like
21 and a half points from Sam Darnold. Yeah.
My home league does -6 points for pick 6s, and So that was a huge swing for it to only be an interception and not a pick six. It was a 4 point
Wow.
swing.
Wow. I might pick that one up. That's a doozy of a punishment. Never
Yeah.
playing a rookie quarterback ever again. Uh, I have a question about Devonta Smith. Just kidding. We have a real question. I'll get to Devonta Smith in a second.
Okay.
PPR, wide receiver 2 and flex with Evans, Pittman, Sarton, DK Metcalf, and Michael Wilson. My wide receiver 1 was Puka. Oh,
Congratulations.
okay.
You can just start no one.
Doesn't matter. Yeah, just bench him. just leave it open and just taunt your opponent.
Yep.
I know your answer. It's Mike Evans.
Yep.
I think my answer is equally Mike Evans because he's going to get 250 yards this week.
Yeah.
They will will it into existence to get him 1,000 yards this season.
Or at least as many opportunities as possible to try. I don't know if he'll come down with all those yards, but he'll get the targets for sure. As far as a flex, probably DK Metcalf. It's a game against the Lions. They have to score to keep up with Detroit. Like, I would be enormously shocked if this is somehow like a defensive slugfest. So if the Steelers have to throw the ball a lot, it's going to be to Metcalf, and the Lions are banged up enough that their defense doesn't scare me off of him. So I would probably go Metcalf.
And what I like about this is you can like safely play Metcalf because he is a little bit boom busty. He is still a top 24 wide receiver on the year.
Yeah.
But it hasn't been very good. It hasn't felt good to roster DK Metcalf. But because Puka just did what he did, and because you have another really solid floor, Mike Evans, I think DK Metcalf is like a perfect, like, hey, let's see if he can get us 20, 30 points against a really bad, like, yeah, I'll say it, like really bad Lions secondary.
Yeah.
Because he can do that. He like just manhandled, quite literally, 2 safeties on the Miami Dolphins to score last week.
Yeah.
I can see that happening again against the Lions.
Yep.
So my question about Devonta Smith, what are you doing if you have him in your roster? Because looking at his past few games, he has been kind of not playable.
Yeah.
Oh, you're welcome. Epic 8 fight. Good luck in your matchup this week. Though 50 points spot is it's a pretty good feeling.
Yep.
But yeah, for Devonta Smith, he scored. But I could have sworn he scored last week a touchdown. Maybe not. Maybe it was called back or something. I don't know. But yeah, his last 3 weeks: 7 points, 5.5 points, 6 points.
Yeah.
And before that, 12 points, woohoo! But then 1 point.
Yeah.
What's your confidence level starting Devonta Smith?
It's not very high, obviously. Like, there's no given reason why it would be high, but I will at least take some comfort in the fact that it's a very squishy matchup against Washington. Like, they will happily give up big performances to wide receivers. So it's been AJ Brown as of late, but Smith is also a competitive, high caliber wide receiver, and he just isn't as loud about his desire for the ball as AJ Brown is. So this could very conceivably just be like the week where they're like, all right, time to get Devonta involved. Like, they've had Goddard involved a lot. They've had Brown involved a lot. Saquon doesn't look great this season, just in general, and Jalen Hurts doesn't look that great this season. So for me, it's definitely dependent on who the other options are, but I don't think he's a must sit by any stretch. It's definitely like a who are your options for me.
Right. Stephon Diggs against Baltimore or Devonta Smith?
Diggs is kind of in the same boat, it feels like. It's like this is an offense where every week you're like, they should score points, and then they usually do. And about 20% of the time it goes to Diggs, and about 80% of the time it goes to someone else. So I would probably just take Smith because the matchup is easier. And, you know, Patriots could just run the crap out of the ball against Baltimore, or they could just decide it's a Hunter Henry week or a Booty week or whatever. So at least with Philly, it's concentrated. With the Patriots, it could be one of like 8 guys. So
And that's a good thing for the Patriots because they're gonna make that drive. They're gonna make that playoff run.
yeah,
Hey, PS3 family, Ferguson or Schultz? To me, this is Dalton Schultz. I think Dalton Schultz has a easier matchup
yeah,
and kind of a higher ceiling.
yeah, yeah. I think like we've said it a couple times on this show already that Ferguson's just like very, very distantly the third target for the Cowboys. And once CD came back, he kind of just was relegated to touchdown or bust, unfortunately. And Schultz is getting a pretty decent target share, and he's also getting red zone work at about the same clip as Ferguson, anyways. And like you said, it's a much, much better matchup against the Raiders. So I would also go Schultz.
Yeah, and just to help you feel confident about this one, since starting their win streak, Houston, after losing to Denver, these are Schultz targets: um, 11, 9, 4, 8, 4, 9. He is so involved, and this offense is, I don't I want to say moving. They haven't really been the fireworks of old
Yeah,
with Houston, but I
better
would
better than it was to start the season, at least.
exactly. Yeah, I think Schultz is the play there. And then follow up Dart or Brissett. You know the answer. Say the line.
Well, they're
I know
both good plays, is
this is
what
a
I'll
tough one.
say. Um, it's a cop out answer of mine, but do you need ceiling or do you need safety? If you need safety, you will pretty much guaranteed get it with Jacoby Brissett. If you are staring down a Puka game or a Stafford game or a JSN game and you feel like you need some oomph at the quarterback position, then I think Dart has a 30 plus point ceiling, but he also has a much lower floor. So kind of depends on roster construction and matchup, but that would be my answer.
Yeah, and to be honest, I don't think it's a cop out this week because there are a ton of people who are now facing a
Yeah.
40 burger or God forbid a 70 burger from Stafford and Nakua.
Yeah.
I did get Puka. Yeah, okay. So that is so first off, apologies. I'm so sorry
Yes.
that happened. I'm so sorry you were on the other side. So for ceiling play, I completely agree. Jackson Dart has way more of a chance to run to the end zone than Brissett.
Yep.
You know, I do think Brissett can throw for 303. Is that going to be enough? And that's weird to say. Maybe not. But yeah, I think Dart might be your home run play that you need.
Dart could easily do 2 rushing, 2 passing, 250 passing yards, and 50 rushing, and you've got a 30 plus point game relatively easily and relatively foreseeable in the range of outcomes.
Now, it is tricky because they are against Minnesota. They are very good against the quarterback.
Yeah, but
I
Minnesota
think
can also just be put into a position where they're just McCarthy throws 3 picks and all of a sudden doesn't matter how good the defense is, they're just getting run over by the opposing team starting on the 30 every time.
yeah, this could very well be a Dart runs the ball a lot game. So I think I'll lean towards that. And because you're right here, estimate or Carter, Michael Carter for me.
Same. Yeah, I don't want to mess around with the Saints split until I know one way or the other.
Yeah. I know we're running a little bit tight on time, but I do want to get to this longer one here. Hey guys, full PPR, 2 running back, 2 wide receiver, 1 flex. Jameer Gibbs, Bucky Irving, Trevon Henderson, Chase Brown, George Pickens, Lad McConkey, Tedros McMillan, who makes the team. On a side note, my tight end is Kittle, so that's a lock. But I also have Kelsey, is it worth playing at flex over any of those other players? The reason I would really like to play him is because the manager I'm playing dropped Kelsey last week, and it'd be so sweet to play him against them and beat them. Wow. Okay. So I really like where your head's at with the Kelsey thing.
Mhm.
No shot do I want to play Kelsey over any of those players. I think your team is pretty strong. So
Yeah.
I don't think you really need to rub it in on, like outside of just beating them by a billion. Um,
Yep.
to me, I guess I'll let you do the lineup first, Tim.
Gibbs for sure. I would say Travion for sure. I would go Pickens and Tet at wide receiver, and then at the flex, probably Bucky. Um, I know Chase Brown's matchup is good on paper, but they just absolutely love to give Samaje Perine the ball for some reason, and it just scares me the downside of him not having a great workload anymore. And if he doesn't get the touchdown, then it's like, oops, there's 6 points. And like, you can kind of say the same thing about Bucky, but Bucky's at least more explosive and he can just rip one for 50 yards and you feel that's totally within the range of outcomes. So I think that would be my five.
Yeah, that's would be my same five as well. Like I probably would have gone like what's it called? Gibbs, Bucky, and your real running back, Trevion Henderson in the flex. Literally doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But in that case, it does mean like, do you want to bench Trevion Henderson for Kelsey? No, I would not do that. I think
Yeah.
Henderson has way higher of a ceiling and way more of a chance to score 20 or 30 points than Kelsey does, just as the team is currently built out, the team being Patriots.
Yep.
I think the only one you don't want to play, and you can clip this, unfortunately, when it bites me in the butt, I don't think you should play Lad McConkey.
No.
Just the way that that team is currently figuring out its own pass catching situation. They have a lot of mouths to feed. The pie is really small coming over from Herbert. I don't think they'll need to do a lot in this game. So Lad would be like my for sure bench.
Yeah. I will say if you didn't have Bucky or Travion and the flex decision was between Ladd, Chase Brown, and Kelsey, I would probably pound the table for Kelsey there, being full PPR. Like he has just as much upside in my opinion as Brown and Ladd, but with having Bucky and Travion, I think it's a pretty easy. You just play those three running backs and feel pretty good about it.
Yep. All right. We have a minute left or so. I think technically 5 minutes left. You're welcome. You're welcome so much, Pastor. Good luck in your games. Any other player that you are thinking about in terms of just like overall holistically?
Yeah. What are you doing with Marvin Harrison and Michael Wilson this week?
I don't know, man. I am really down on Marv at this point
Mhm.
because of what I've seen out of Michael Wilson and out of Brissett. The fact that he hasn't, oh, I mean, he hasn't really played with Brissett. I feel like it's been, what, 1 or 2 games?
Yeah, I think it's like 3 games, and they're his best three of the season, I think, which isn't saying much because Kyler was awful
Yep.
with Marv, but you know, yeah, I'm just very curious what the alignment looks like. Are they gonna just put Marv back at X and ignore everything that Wilson has done at that position, or are they going to move Harrison around and keep Wilson at the X and see how that goes since it's kind of a lost season anyways? I think the answer is just going to be it's going to Trey McBride, so who cares? But it is something, especially from like a DFS perspective, but I know that this will be some decisions in lineup leagues as well of like, do I take the shot on Michael Wilson just because of how good he's been? But the last time Marv came back, Wilson had like 2 catches for 30 something yards in the game they played. So I know a lot of folks are going to be stressing over that Wilson start.
Yeah, my heart wants to say play them both. Just get them both in your lineup. Get as many Cardinals receivers in your lineup not named Greg Dortch, um,
Yeah.
because the matchup is good. Brissett is throwing the ball 40 times a game, 30 to 40 ball
Yep.
and Michael Wilson has proven that he's just good enough to do what he needs to, like he has earned the right to get that many targets, truly. And
Yep.
then also, Marvin Harrison is good. I think they should put him inside, honestly, just make him a big slot, kind
Yeah.
of like a CD kind of deal. I
Yep.
don't think Drew Petzing believes the same way as I do, but you know,
We're
tune
not
in for
gonna.
Get Tilted and talk about how we hate offensive coordinators in the NFL.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't know. At this point, what the trend is telling me, I'm just playing a Cardinals receiver if I have one.
So I have a sad hypothetical that's not real, but I figure we can end the show on this if no one else has any other questions. Michael Wilson or Justin Jefferson?
Michael Wilson. I mean, yeah, that's awful. That's terrible.
Yep.
But just what's been happening, how the two teams have gone in terms of just where their targets are going. Yeah, I'm gonna take the 10 targets of Justin Jefferson's had 8 targets last week. I value a Jacoby Brissett target over a JJ McCarthy target right now.
Yeah.
And I hope that doesn't burn me. I hope no one's mulling over that decision.
Yeah.
Because Mike Wilson's gonna get 3 targets and it's gonna be like, well, all right. Sorry, everybody.
It's very possible, but that's why this type of stuff is so difficult. It's just there's even with data that backs up things that have happened in the past, NFL teams will usually just be like, don't care, doing something different this week. So I don't envy anyone that has to make that decision.
And if you do, hit us up in the Discord. Join the Fans Now Discord. Tell us what wacky decision you're making this week. We are always there to help you out as well. Make sure you're following us on Blue Sky. Make sure you're following me. Make sure you're following Tim. Tim, you can give your handle. I believe it's just Tim Holstad.
Yep. Tim Holstead. I don't even remember.
And then, Blue Sky's weird because we have 800 more characters to go.
Yeah.
And then myself is Brock Talks Fantasy Football. Brock Talks FF at fantasynowplus.com on Blue Sky.
Yep.
And make sure to, if you haven't already, sign up to Underdog. Your first $5 play gets $75 for your next contest. It's great. It's a great time to hop in. Tim's got a best ball show going on right now and our series going on.
Yep.
You can tune in and start drafting some playoff teams.
Yep. And you can use that 75 for pick'ems. You can use it for best ball. You can use it for anything that Underdog offers in your area. So definitely sign up using promo code FN Plus if you haven't already, and join Underdog. It's a real fun time, and it really helps me as someone who loves fantasy football and wants to be in this business of understanding how, outside of dynasty, best ball players are kind of the only other subset of fantasy football players who are year round. So it really gives me extra insight into the fluctuations over time of how players move in ADP, how they move in value, how people see them from a market perspective. So it's not only fun, it's also very valuable insight that you can get from drafting over there.
Oh, it's a blast. And why not do the best part of fantasy football every week? Just draft a new team.
Exactly.
It's the best time. But that's gonna be it for us today. Thank you all for hopping in. Thank you all for all the questions. We really appreciate it. I really appreciate all your conversation starters, honestly, because each one is just a new puzzle to fix, new puzzle to solve. So thank you all. If you didn't have a question yet, have one later on. Come down to the Discord, hit us up on Blue Sky, and we will happily answer that for you. But until then, best of luck in your games this weekend. Remember, there's Saturday games, so check your lineups.
Yep.
It's always important. But thank you all so much. Have a great weekend.
Thanks for listening. Be sure to like and subscribe wherever you watch or listen to podcasts. We'll be back next week for more ways to win your league.